Well, good morning. My wife pointed out, said, y'all are outnumbered today. So, Keaton, we got to be on our best behavior. Well, good morning again. I trust you had a good week in the Lord. Brother alluded, we had a great week. Got to watch my brother graduate from that program again. I appreciate your prayers, because that, to me, that's been the greatest Christmas gift that we could have received this year. And I appreciate all your prayers for him. And we've got others we need to pray for. We've all got family members that just ravaged by sin. And again, but by the grace of God, there go I. There go I. Let's look at 2 Samuel chapter 16. Second Samuel chapter 16. Well, it's been a while since we've been over here. Just to remind you where we're at. David, has had to leave Jerusalem. Absalom's trying to attempt a coup and to overthrow David. And David's marched out of the city barefoot, reached the top of the hill. And a couple of events take place during his departure. And one of them, y'all remember Mephibosheth? Mephibosheth was Saul's son, or grandson, Jonathan's son, that was lame on his feet. And David showed great mercy to him. Well, in this case, the fellow that David put over Mephibosheth to attend to him and help him, Ziba, shows up here. But he shows up with some deception. He shows up and lies to David, and it's to gain worldly possessions. We're here at Christmas already. Another year done come and gone, hasn't it? And most of the time this year, we're all in it, or I used to be in it, for what I could get. For what I could get. People ask me, what you want for Christmas? I don't really know. Because, well, here's a list in alphabetical order, Clark, and if it ain't too much, I'd like to get you something real nice too, right? Ooh, you bunch of sinners, you knew what I was referencing there. But I've learned all this stuff is going to belong to somebody else. All my gains are, they're gone. So why does he do this? Like we talked about, we prayed for my brother. Why was he doing that? Because their eyes hadn't been opened yet. It's still about this world, about the gains of this world, about lying, about guile. In a lot of conversations we'll have with people, we'll tilt the story our way because we're after something. Or we want something at our job to go our way, so we'll tilt the story to our boss in our favor. I know y'all have never done that. And I was going to pick on Donald if he was here today. We picked on him last week about parking. Seems like this is the time of year to pick on Donald. A few years ago it was about scanning, wasn't it? Y'all remember that? Tell him I said, hey, I still love him. But Ziba here, well, let's just read this. Verse 1, And when David was a little past the top of the hill, behold, Ziba, the servant of Mephibosheth, met him, and with a couple of asses saddled, and upon them were 200 loaves of bread and 100 bunches of raisins, and of summer fruits, and a bottle of wine. And the king said unto Ziba, What meanest thou by these? And Ziba said, The asses be for the king's household to ride on, and the bread and the summer fruit for the young men to eat, and the wine that such as be faint in the wilderness may drink. And the king said, Where is thy master's son? I love it here that David refers to Mephibosheth as his son. Y'all feel that way? Do you really feel the adoption that we possess? It's hard to do, isn't it? We talk about being able to see that we don't want these earthly possessions, but then we blind ourselves to the other aspects that we're afforded. Where is thy servant's son? Our master's son? David still has a tender spot here for Mephibosheth. Where is thy master's son? And Ziba said unto the king, Behold, he abideth at Jerusalem, for he said, Today shall the house of Israel restore me to the kingdom of my father. So here is where Ziba starts lying. What he's after here is he wants everything that David gave Mephibosheth. He's gambling here. He thinks that Absalom's going to put Mephibosheth to death, I bet. Yeah. I mean, when you read this stuff, put yourself here. That's why it's here. Put on your thinking cap. Ziba's rolling the dice here. Mephibosheth's been left back in Jerusalem where Absalom's at. Absalom coming here, that's a descendant of Saul. What usually happened to the previous kingdom? Family. They were murdered or killed or put to death to prevent a rebellion against them. So here Ziba thinks, they'll take care of Mephibosheth. I can come up here and I can tilt this story to David. David's going to grant me all his possessions. I'm going to be rich. I find myself wanting to be rich, don't y'all? It'd be nice to have all the money I needed. And then I read over there in the New Testament where it says, who lifted up their eyes in hell? The rich man. What can I get? What can Clay get? You know, constantly about earthly gain. And then I end up leaving it to the next person. So what have I gained? What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his own soul? And the king said, we'll pick it up in verse 4 here. Then said the king to Ziba, Behold, thine are all that pertaineth unto Mephibosheth. And Ziba said, I humbly beseech thee that I may find grace in thy sight, my lord, O king. What a tragedy here. What a sad story. That Ziba has done this to Mephibosheth and lied to the king. And lied to the king. So I want to challenge you this Christmas. What do we want for Christmas? Do we want this kind of stuff? Or do we want to see our family members rescued? That was a great event we got to do Tuesday. I had to take off work. We all had to give up. But you know what we did? We invested time in him, in my brother. And I told him, we were allowed to stand up and speak, and I told him when I stood up, if you ever feel the call of the hog pen again, and you need me, you call me, I will leave the field. Unlike that elder brother that thought he was better than his younger brother in Luke over there. I will leave the field. And we left the field that day and we went in and celebrated him home. That's what it's about. You know what the most valuable thing I can give you? My time. Nobody in this room probably needs money this morning, but you could use my time. My time for you might be praying like we just prayed for Sister Kim. Instead, I find myself, and I tell y'all this, and tomorrow morning by lunch I'll be after it again. What can I get? You know, let me tilt the story to my boss so he'll give me a little extra time here or something. You get what I'm saying? So this Christmas, let's make this about Jesus. Go to 1 Timothy chapter 6. The Bible gives us several examples of men who pursued earthly gain. Balaam wanted to be a rich preacher. Judas wanted silver. Demas hath forsaken me, having loved this present world. What did he want in this present world that allured him? He done been with Paul and them, and that wasn't the bed of roses he thought it was going to be. Take up your cross and follow me. That sounds real, real alluring. I told Mike, I said, I was more proud of Brian Tuesday with what he's accomplished there in the spiritual realm than if he'd have scored the winning touchdown for a football team. Because that's going to last. What good's a football trophy going to do? Let's look at this here in pick it up in verse 6. But godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all evil. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. If you will, skip on down to verse 17. Charge them that are rich in this world, that they be not high-minded, nor trust in uncertain riches, but in the living God, which giveth us richly all things to enjoy. My daddy used to say, son, it's okay to have things, but don't let the things have you. Don't let the things have you. And that's what I want to convey. Listen, there's a difference between money having a Christian and Christian having money. We're all in here pretty well off. We rode in a nice warm car to church this morning. We're sitting here in four walls that has heat, as he mentioned. Let's be thankful for that and be content with what we have. Listen, when we start pursuing, that's where the devil lures me off. I start pursuing things. I apologized to my brother Tuesday. I said, I think sometimes I was too busy to help you when you needed it. And by the time I was concerned, guess where he was at? I had missed my opportunity. And I want to make a vow to myself that I don't let that happen again. I wish y'all a Merry Christmas this year. God bless y'all.